Yes, good morning to you.
Good morning to you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for making time for us. Liberation Day it is in Rwanda, also known as Kwibohora. We celebrate this day for the Rwandan people on the 4th of July. What does this commemoration mean in modern day Rwanda 30 years later?
This day means hope because it's reminiscence of 30 years of Kwibohora, because liberation is not only on the 4th of July. Liberation starts uh, on the 1st of October when the RPF takes up arms to end discrimination of and exile of the Rwandan part of the Rwandan community in exile, and all that culminates in today's 4th of July, when the RPF puts an end to the genocide against the Tutsi. And so today, it's a day of enthusiasm and of happiness, because the people look at what they have achieved in the last 30 years. They look back and say, oh my God, it's not been easy, but we've managed to achieve this. If we have achieved this, that means we can achieve more for the future. So it's a forward-looking day. Thank you.
Does the day still hold the significance of it being a celebration rather than a period of mourning and bleak remembrance of the Rwandan genocide?
Yes, it does, because on the 4th of July 1994, it wasn't a day of celebration. It was rather a bittersweet day. But throughout the years, the day that is difficult to handle is the 7th of April, when the genocide starts. But the 4th of July is more met with happiness and a feeling of achievement and of responsibility.
Yeah. Was this liberation purely military, or one that can be looked at as economic, as a social one, and even a personal one for the people of Rwanda?
It was, although the victory was military, but the liberation was more ideological. It's the day that we put an end to discrimination, to tribalism, to genocide ideology, and we resolute to embark on a totally different path. So it's more an ideological liberation, where we say this is a country for all Rwandans. This is a country where it's a country of rule of law. It's a country of justice and equity for all. And so that is the motto that has been driving us. And if the RPF is still relevant and popular today, uh, uh, unlike some of the liberation movements across the continent, it's because the people have seen that the RPF has stayed the course and has continued to infuse positive change in this country.
What is the significance of this day falling within the same week that Rwanda has signed a Washington peace deal with the DRC, as it speaks to previous peacekeeping efforts proving uneasy? Are there lessons from Kwibohora to be taken into this new peace deal?
The peace deal mainly focuses on ending the FDLR. The FDLR is the remnants of that ideology that this liberation is vanquished. It is this peace deal with the DRC is asking for the neutralization of the group that committed genocide and the group that intends to continue committing the genocide. So this could not have arrived at a more auspicious time, because it shows that the days to come are positive.
What does the day mean for the foundation built for national pride? There are Rwandans all over the world who fled the country and built lives for themselves in other places in the world and other countries. As it speaks to national pride?
Yes, it does, because Rwandans living anywhere in the world is welcome. There's nothing wrong with that. But Rwandans must have the right to return to their country and live it at their convenience, as they wish. So while we have Rwandan diaspora across the globe, we for the last 30 years, we encourage all those Rwandans to come to their country, to visit their country, to invest their country. Should they want to settle, they can, or should they want to leave and go back to living abroad, there is no reason. One of the pillars of this liberation is that there shouldn't be any reason for exile for any Rwandan citizen. And in fact, since 1994, the RPF has encouraged all other Africans and other citizens of the world to come and set up here and have a prosperous life in Rwanda. So this liberation is not only for Rwandans, it's for the entire African continent.
Let's talk about in terms of what it highlights this day as being necessary for aspects of leadership in the country.
Yes. So what is liberation? So what we are being encouraged, what we're being sensitized upon, is that liberation is not a one-day activity. It's not one action. Liberation is a daily life. It's liberation. Liberation means access to basic human rights, access to education. We have free and universal education, compulsory free and universal education, free and compulsory and universal health care. We have free housing for the poor. We have so many. Rwanda is a welfare state. We have so many social services. So, because we believe liberation is not something that you are offered, that is handed to you. Liberation is something that you are empowered to achieve by yourself. And that's what we've been pursuing in the last 31, 32 years.
On the point of empowering and empowerment, I imagine that when we have these types of days on the continent, one of the things we'll reflect on is how far we've come as it pertains to women leadership. So how has the country fared when it comes to the representation of women in political leadership?
So the country has fared excellently in that field. I mean, women representation, you have the majority of women in parliament since 1994, I think, is women. There's parity of genders in the cabinet, but that's not really. Those are positions that people are nominated to or elected to. But this is translated in looking at the amount of women in leadership positions in all aspects of life. For example, at some point, 80 to 90% of bank CEOs in Rwanda, and I'm talking about private banks, are women. You see women leaders, women majors of captains of industry, women entrepreneurs, women business women, women excellent. The first pilot, female. We have female pilots. We have female professors of universities and dean of faculties, and so women empowerment started with political empowerment, but eventually it became socioeconomic empowerment as well. And we have very strong policies that fight gender-based violence and that kind of thing. So women empowerment must not only be political, but it must be translated in all aspects of life.
As the country continues to grow as far as industrialization is concerned and the modern moves to urbanize and digitize, what are the values from Kwibohora that the people of Rwanda should take forward in this specific particular part of industrialization and digitization?
Because we believe Kwibohora, which actually means freedom, to free oneself, is only achievable if people have a better livelihood, better conditions. Our biggest enemy today is not one another. Our biggest enemy is poverty. Our biggest enemy is deprivation. And we believe that if we industrialize the country, people will be freer, because freedom has to be also economic. And I think you know this better than anyone in South Africa.
The story of Rwanda is an ongoing one as the people of the country continue with freedom efforts and poverty alleviation efforts. What should they take forward with them, and maybe a message of hope?
Right, so that's what liberation is about, right? It's about hope. It's about everyone. There's an old elder in Rwanda who said, not everyone will be employed in Rwanda. Rwanda does not have 100% employment rate. But people will not be denied employment because of the color of their skin, of their region of origin, of their first name. Everyone should have equal rights and equal opportunities, and social mobility should cut across all segments of society to ensure that people are not denied jobs. Before the 4th of July, the Muslim community in Rwanda was marginalized. The Tutsi community was marginalized. People from the north were promoted, and people from the west were marginalized. These types of things that's the kind of thing that we've been liberated from. And now today, every Rwandan can dream, can aspire to a better day tomorrow, and nothing will hinder their pursuit of such liberation.
Advocate Nyiringabo, we appreciate your time again here on Channel Africa.
Thank you so much.
That's where we leave that chat for now. Rwandan advocate Gatete Ruhumuliza, Nyiringabo, joining us to reflect on this day as Rwanda marks 30 years since the end of genocide. They are celebrating Kwibohora. It's not just a day of mourning and remembrance that is bleak in terms of the Rwandan genocide, as we heard, but it is a day of celebration.
South Africa